I love talking about dreams in the context of business. And I think this is, as many entrepreneurs, we have lofty goals, we have lots of inspiration. We became a sort of a business owner in the first place because of a dream. What have you found in your years of experience that stops people from being able to dream big?
Um, that's a question you can spend the next 2 hours talking about, maybe longer. Simply is because of our own limitations, the things we give ourselves. When we're very young, we hear everything that happens around about us. We hear our peers talking, we grow, we learn from everything externally, and we take all that internally. And without getting too deep, it becomes our own limitations, our own limiting beliefs, you hear people calling it. And a lot of our dreams are stuck because of that. Because whatever we hear, if your parents were talking about, and one of the most famous what I remember is money doesn't grow on trees. And I used to be totally confused with that. If money's made out of paper, how come it doesn't grow on a tree? Doesn't make sense to me. But that was my brain would work. It would like I'd laugh and say that, and then that wasn't very nice. It didn't get down well if I did that. But what I found was difficult is that my dreams weren't nurtured because they weren't going to be real. It was like, what do you want to do? Cowboy. And that was the first I ever remember saying I want to be a cowboy. My dad thinks I've achieved that. He thinks you've done it, yeah. Well, you've worked out in life, yes, you've become a cowboy. But I think that's the thing is that our dreams are built a lot of time on the limitations that we got from when we're younger. And
Yeah.
it's entrepreneurs have a mindset of breaking away from that. Not everybody does. And I think that's the problem for them is they're held back with other people's beliefs rather than really their own belief. If they would just let go and then go, right, I'm going to have a go at this, I want to go and do it, it would be amazing. But it's not the easiest thing for people to do.
Yeah. I mean tapping into your mindset coaching, I think this is a really important topic for people is being able to believe in yourself that you can chase your dreams. We talk about how big dreams, you can chase a big dream, but I think you've got to be realistic about your expectations of that dream. And I love it's Gary Vaynerchuk. He wanted to buy, I want to say, a baseball team. I can't remember. I think it's that. And he had this, I think it was the Jets. He had this huge dream. But when you think about the money and the investment that goes into that, that's a huge dream. For a guy that's an immigrant into the US, he's helped his build his dad's business. He's really taken that entrepreneur spirit. He's written books, he's really grown. He still talks about that dream every interview. I think it sort of comes up. So he keeps his dream alive by talking about it. But he's very realistic about if he wants to realize that dream, he needs a lot of money. He needs to be able to understand the positioning of that type of role. But it hasn't stopped him. And I think he's had that dream for about 20 years now. And he's still working towards it. He's probably almost there, to be honest. But I think that is a fantastic way of being really true to yourself about I have this really lofty dream that I want to achieve, but then realistically, how do I get there? What's the time frame that I need to make that dream happen? And I love that entrepreneur spirit that a lot of people have about following a dream. But then you've got to shift your mindset into, okay, let's break this down and work out what is achievable to get to that dream. And, some people don't achieve their dreams and they face that disappointment of not getting there. A lot of authors write books because that's their dream of being an author. But then I think sometimes they're disappointed by the outcome of that dream is, well, no one's buying my book. So I think you've also got to shift your focus from when you achieve your dream, what's next?
But I think that's the great thing about dreams, is that the dreams always change. You can have a big dream, and the saying about expectations are great, but if you don't put a time frame on your dream, you can keep chasing that dream from the day you have it to the day you die. Your dream can always be chased, which means you've always got something to look forward to because you're still working towards that. You're not working for it for the sake of working. You're working because one day you would love to get to a certain point. And because when people say that they've got their dream, and say, is that really great? What happens now? And you say that, and like, well, I don't know where to go next.
Yeah.
So that's not, to me, that means the dream wasn't big enough. You want to have that big enough dream. I wish I could remember that saying. People don't miss the dream by aiming too high. They actually get it by achieving too low. So they aim for a low dream, they get there, and it's like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, I say, be this great example, my analogy with it is a mountain. People look at a mountain or a large hill and they look at it from down below and it looks easy to walk up and they think, oh, it isn't that far. Then they get to a certain point and say, I thought this was the top. Then there's another part, then another part, and another part. That's like dreams. If you keep working towards your dream, you get smaller dreams on the way to that larger one,
Mm.
but you can keep moving towards that larger dream.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think that's a very valid point. And we don't want people to be disappointed by their dreams, which, often happens. But yeah, you're right. There's there's a thing about the rolling rock down the hill or something, isn't there? You get the rock to a certain point and then you're tired. And so
Mm,
you let it go. But now you've got to start it, getting it back up there again. And it becomes harder and harder each time. So it's like, yeah, setting your expectations to the point where you can achieve. It's like bucket lists. I love
yeah.
a good bucket list. Write down everything you wish you can do. Go do
Mm,
them. And then you finish your bucket list and go, okay, I'll write another one. It's the same principle of,
yeah.
what's next for you. Like if you achieve a dream, what's next? Um, yeah, I think there's so many elements that can be positive out of building dreams for yourself, building dreams for your business,
Hmm.
and it's fine to not share your dreams either with anyone, because I think that also keeps them as something that can be realistic. And we talked in the one of the episodes about dreams being crushed by others.
Yeah.
Want those to be crushed, but put it on a wall somewhere, make it a mantra for yourself, to make sure that dream stays true to you and grows.
But I think also dreams are fluid. People say about the dream can change at night. You have the same dream 3 nights in a row, but you don't actually. There's always something slightly different about it because you're using the perspective of the next day, dreaming something you've already had a dream about before, so you slightly change it. And I think that's something that's, although you can have this large dream to get to a certain point, what it's going to be like when you get there can change.
Mm,
That doesn't have to stay the same. And I think that's the great thing about dreams, is especially as if no one else knows exactly the largest dream you've got, you can change it anytime you want.
true.
It's up to you. And that's the brilliant thing about having that ability to do that. But getting to every point you get to is to celebrate it. That's the important part of dreams, is celebrate when you get to one bit and go, actually, it's like you say about a bucket list. When I first ever heard that term, it was something to do before you die. Well, why wait that long? Why is the bucket list just something you do now? When you give it as a sort of reward to yourself. When I get to a certain point, I'm going to knock something off my bucket list.
Mhm.
When I get to that dream, that's another one off, another one off. So actually, if getting all of those dreams on your bucket list is your eventual dream, you're taking every dream towards one bigger dream. Because every time you celebrate, you give yourself that reward by doing it. And that's a fantastic way of looking at it.
And how do we celebrate?
Eat
Cake.
cake!